How are we all feeling today? Good to see you all here. Welcome to Wednesday. Good morning, Janet. Hello, Rocky, Theo, Ryan, Ben. How you all going? As you jump in here, be sure to leave me a comment. Let me know that you're around. Copper Top, Rata, Pranav, James, Lucky Nice. Good to see you all here. We had a pretty delicious trade last night. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to go over what we were talking about on yesterday's video, how price action actually ended up playing out in the end. The reason for that is because it helps us to learn in the future what to look for. And then we're going to have a look at what is going on today. Now, as you should most likely be aware, we do have a huge news event tonight. Well, what everyone is describing as a big, high impact news event. So when things get overhyped like that, they can kind of tend to turn out to be quite anticlimactic. So I'm kind of keeping that in mind as well. However, in case you are not aware, we are talking about the core CPI, that is Melbourne time, 10:30 p.m. tonight. Now, the good thing about this is that if you are on this side of the world, if you are an Aussie, it does give us the entire day. If Asia gives us a good setup, it does give us the entire day to trade, but we probably want to be out of trades, especially leverage trades, before this news event. I would say usually at least an hour before. That's when the manipulation can start to come in. So if you're Aussie, great. If you trade the UK session, it's going to be risky because it will only be a few hours before when UK opens, and US, you'll be trading the post news event. So that can, depending on what happens, that can be a good trade as well. So let us talk about, hello Faith, Mark, Josh, how are you guys doing? And Nina, Ian, good to see you all here. So many people from the TTC Discord. Great to see you guys showing up every day, learning, doing what you got to do to get good at this. It's great. Excuse me. So if you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. If you haven't already, be sure to smash that subscribe button. We are going to quickly go over what we talked about on previous videos and then get into what I think may happen next. So number one, very quickly, I won't take a lot of time. This area here we had been eyeing off for a week as we call it the Dream M formation. We got the second peak of the Dream M formation. Yesterday we were here when we went live. Oh, sorry, no, we weren't. We were Australia Open. We were around here. Sorry, Asia Open. We're around here and we had our two hits to the low after the M formation. We were waiting and expecting a third. We also had, I also had marked out this market maker candle right here as the area of interest that price may come into. And we also saw quite large buy orders here, which is where price wicked into exactly. Now, if you have been watching me for a while, you will hopefully remember that, sorry guys, you will hopefully remember that I have told you before, when we see high level heat map orders at an area at level 3, we don't really want to buy off the first dip into that zone because we need to assess the movement away from the zone afterwards, right? So we see this first one, and at this point in time, this would have been looking like this purple candle here was the final third hit, and it wasn't that major, and there was a chance we were going to move up from here. However, you always have to come back and wait to see how price reacts. Now, at that point in time, as price moved out of the zone, it was very weak. Look at these candles. They're very, very small, and there's large wicks to the top. That, at that point of time, is where you should have reduced your confidence in believing that we were going to change trend. So at this point in time here, there was basically the idea of a potential long position out of this zone should have been diminished after this. In addition to that, what you hopefully would have identified is we know that after a 3 hits to the low, which is what you would have believed this was at the time, you have two options. You have 3 really, but let's just go with these two. You have a W formation that forms, or you can have a H pattern that forms. So in this situation here, let me just draw this out. When we have the third hit here, which is what you would have believed, that's the reason that you need to wait to see if price moves out of the zone. Because if you have one hit into a zone that has this large wick, price usually returns, and that return there is what we call the H pattern. Now, it is at this point where the decision gets made by the market maker. Is that all they want? They've come back into the zone to collect whatever contracts they didn't pick up here. So sorry. They want to come back for a second time, grab their contracts, and then that's where they reassess. They size up their position. Do we have enough now to move to the upside because we've induced enough people to go short? Or do we need to come down further because our intention was to induce people to go long, but we actually want lower prices? So this is why a H pattern is a really important pattern to be aware of, keep in mind, and wait for when you have a buy out of an initial high level heat map order zone. So if you were going by that theory, you would see here that basically we broke that level. There was no reason now to exit your short, and you now no longer have a long bias. You are now in the trade, and this part here has confirmed the dream trade that we waited for from last week. So we should currently be in the dream trade. That area of interest is gone. We also talked about the fact that that was the first market maker candle of many hits down here, and that there was a potential to come all the way back and recover all of them, which was here. And that would, at the time, have been somewhere close to the 800 EMA as well. Oh, sorry, that wasn't the candle. This one here would have been close to the 800 EMA as well. So we talked about if we broke this zone and we continued to head down and broke the 200 EMA, the 800 would be the next target. Now, we've done all of that, and we kept going. From there, we broke the 800, we retested the 800, and we came down again. Now, this is where I talked about this in detail in the Discord last night. This is the point in time where you have taken a day trade and you need to assess whether you are onto a trade that is worth letting your runners run, or is this trade over? Because now on a 15-minute time frame, you have your 3 hits to the low, and that should be considered trade complete. However, what if you've caught a really good level for something that's going to turn out to be a much bigger trade? Sorry, guys, I'm trying to cough away from the mic. I hope it's not too annoying. So this is where we switch up to the 1 hour time frame, and we can see here on the 1 hour time frame, it really does only look like one drop after the 1 hour M formation, which is more kind of here, right? So that's a personal decision. You have to make up your mind about that. Is this a trade? If you happen to catch that short day trade, is this one that you're going to decide to let your runners run because you believe there's more downside? In order to make that decision, you would zoom out on the 1 hour and have a look at, if price were to continue down, where is the next market maker candle for price to come to? Now, at this point in time, on this drop here, we did have a stopping volume candle just above the 800 on the 1 hour, and that stopping volume candle came back for a full recovery of the previous W from the weekend. We're going to talk about that as well. So at first, price needs to get back into this zone and recover it with a full candle. If it can do that, then the next zone that we're looking at is this one down here, which was a zone that has been an area of interest, again, from last week when we were looking at these levels here. Now, that is such a large area of imbalance that it is likely at some point in time that we're going to come back to recover it. Whether this is the move that recovers it or not, we don't know at this point in time, simply because we have a apparently big high impact news event tonight. So just be aware of that it may be something that happens as part of this particular trade. Sorry, guys. But the CPI may disrupt that for the time being, but at some point in time, it is likely that we will come down into this zone. It's just a matter of when, really. So that's number one. Number two, let's go back to the 15-minute time frame now. And let's talk about this here, because I have a feeling this may have been on people's minds. This here may have been considered a W formation to some people. Why? Because you had your stopping volume candle down here, which forms the first peak of the W. Then we had a number of hammers here, which forms the second peak of the W. Would you open a long position there based on the rules? Potentially, but there's a problem with this W. And if we zoom out to have a look at the last W that happened here, what we can see that looks similar is the left side of the W here and the inside left side of the W here looks very similar. Red market maker candles. Inside here, red market maker candles. That all makes sense, right? But look what happened next. The market maker candle comes in to break the 50 EMA. See that green one there? That's when you know that this W is a W that's changing the trend. Notice we don't have a green market maker candle that broke the 50 here. So I don't, at this point in time, believe that this is a similar situation where this W is actually going to be a change in trend, because we don't have that strong high volume 50 EMA break. So just be aware of that for now. Now, Asia may change its mind, and Asia may move up today, because maybe that wasn't the W, but maybe what is happening right now will turn out to be the W. The other thing too is, if we believe that Asia is going to set its initial low of the day fairly early and then we'll move to the upside, it's possible that we do that, because if people are expecting CPI to be really bad news, or just worse than what it should be, then we may have a false move to the upside today, a false trend up that ends up with worse downside afterwards. It's impossible to know that until CPI comes out. That's the thing. So whatever move happens pre-CPI is probably a fake move. It could be a further move down from here as well. If we do, then we're looking at previous market maker candles for targets. As I mentioned, a full recovery of this area here is the first area to go into. Coincidentally, so that area right now is 22.8 to 22.9. If we go to the heat maps, let's see if it's still there. Here we go. See, we've got those 1.6K orders. That's the highest amount of long orders below price currently, sitting at 22.8, which is exactly a recovery of this area of interest here. So price may not come all the way down there, because again, just looking at the heat maps, there are many orders to fill here before it can get there. The actual zone is quite large. As you can see, I've pre-marked it out. So the zone is pretty much from where price is now, potentially down into this being the highest level. If we break all of that, then we're looking for the next candle down, which would be this one right here. And this portion of it has not yet been recovered. So that sits between 22,470 to 22,540. And that could end up being your drop level 2 on the 1 hour time frame. So that's that. The moral of the story is look to see if Asia gives us the second peak W. If it does, it's only going to be a short-term day trade. You probably want to be out by mid-UK session, and you're going to have the bias that it is a fake move before the news event. The other thing too is the sell orders up here. This is up to you to assess your risk reward and if it's even worth trying to trade a fake move, because your risk to reward, we've got these sell orders here, which line up with the 800 EMA and the 200 EMA. So they are very, very good key levels for a rejection point. And in addition to that, if these sell orders stay here, that's always number one. But we have this portion of this candle to recover. Now, it is likely after such a big move down that we will come back to recover at least some of the candles along the way. And you can see here that at this point in time, price action has come back to recover most of this candle here. So that's the thing to keep in mind, is that even if Asia gave you the W today, is the risk to reward really going to be worth it? Because let's just say you got your entry back at the candle close here. Your stop loss would have to go under this wick here, probably ideally to go under the previous low of the day would be even better. And then your target is going to be to these candle closes here. It's a 2-to-1 risk to reward. That's great for some traders. I don't get out of bed for 2-to-1 risk to reward. So I would leave that. That can get lost in my opinion. And I will just stay in my short position until I hopefully break this level and come down a little bit further. If price does return to this level and it does not get past the candle closes here, that is where I may close this short, or at the very least take partial profits, because again, there is still a chance that this is the dream M formation on the 4-hour time frame. Just very, very quickly to go over it. W formation, level 1, retrace, level 2, retrace, level 3. And now 4-hour M formation here, right? So there is a chance that we have literally caught the dream short, and we just need to monitor that along the way and keep moving our stops if that's what we believe. In addition to that, I hate to point this out again, but I just think it's so important for us to watch right now. Again, let's just keep looking at this S&P and the NASDAQ on the weekly time frame. Look at that. We still have, that might be difficult for you guys to see. The candle's fairly dark. Sorry about that. But we do have a literal wick rejection at this point in time off the 50 EMA, close to the 50 fibs as well. We do still have 2 days to go, and the CPI might change this. But at this point in time, this is still looking extremely bearish to me. And NASDAQ, let's have a quick look at that as well. Same deal. Rejection off the 50 EMA and 38 fibs at this point in time. 2 days to go. If in 2 days this candle closes equal to the previous week candle or lower, that's very bearish. So if that happens, it's going to bring the entire market down. Just be aware of that, and that is going to help our dream M formation. So, don't take profits, number one, on because your day trade has played out. But if you think that this is a runner worth letting run, then keep that in mind too. Now, let's go on quickly to Ethereum. Oh, the other thing to say is Delta now is just, if this thing wants to load. Yeah, the Delta now is to the shorts, but it's only at 2 billion. So it doesn't mean much. But have a look at how much white you can see on this chart now. Even up through these zones here, there are more longs down here, but as far as shorts, it doesn't look like many people are committing to trades. That makes sense with CPI tonight. People probably just sitting on their hands and waiting and being risk off and whatnot. But you know what? I just want to have a look at what is this number right here, 22.4. Let's just go back to Bitcoin for 1 second. 22.4, where will that take us if we get back down there? Oh, look at that. Look how all these things just magically line up. That high level of liquidity that is sitting there waiting to be taken out is right here at the previous low of the week, and also the very top of this candle that we have been waiting to get recovered. So that's a very, very interesting thing. And that if we got that drop into that area, that's going to be level 2 on the 1 hour time frame. So Love that. I love that confluence. All right, let's take a very quick look at Ethereum. Actually, I did Ethereum on over here. So Ethereum, same situation. We had our area of interest on the 15-minute time frame. With Ethereum, it didn't actually come back into the zone at all. I think we were waiting for a recovery of this candle here, and price stayed above. It didn't come back at all. It continued to create lower highs, so we should have kept our bearish bias. And what we were waiting for with Ethereum yesterday was for it to break below the EMAs, because it was currently, at that point in time, it was still sitting above. And we wanted to see the 10 and 20 drop under the 50. So we had basically the entire Asia session was a non-event, but we got that drop under the 50 during UK. So fantastic, worth holding on to this trade. And again, we've basically had a full reset of Ethereum. Where are all our moon boys now that were saying, gotta buy alts now, gotta buy alts now? Where are they now? But anyway, I shouldn't say boys, moon people. So we've had a full recovery here. Sorry, this wick right back into where our initial W formed. Here we go. Looks like Ethereum wants to create that 1 hour drop level 2, I think it would be. Actually, let me double check that before I just say that. We are on, yes, we have a potential. This would be drop 1, stopping volume candle for a brief stop, retest of the 20 EMA failure, and looks like ETH is probably going to give us level 2 very shortly. I would expect this candle to potentially change. Let's look at the volume. Volume's not rising enough yet, but it'll probably come in soon. Now, if it does break that level, then again, we've got these candles down here as the next zones to be aware of. It's a big zone, but if we get into it, that's going to be a whole level 2 zone, and that is between 1650 to 1605. So let's go to the heat maps and see if we can find something there around those levels. Now we're looking for high level orders. What have we got here? We've got 11K at 1650, which I believe is the top side of that candle. Yeah, so 16, well, actually, what is this 10K order down here is 1620. So 1650 and 1620, that lines up with the top of this area here, and 1620 would be about halfway recovery of that candle right there. So keep an eye out on those areas. Those EMAs of gold, yes. So all the EMAs I use are 10, 20, 50, 200, 800. All right, I think we're done with ETH. Like, it's pretty clear ETH wants to die. Now, one thing I want to tell you guys is, we spoke yesterday about how the potential for another shakeout in, the market within the next 6 to 7 weeks. We talked about Bitcoin on the daily and actually, no, it wasn't on this chart. Sorry, give me 1 second. We talked about Bitcoin on the daily and what the price targets might be if that were to happen. I'm just going to quickly go back to it, but I'm not going to go through it in detail because we did do this yesterday, so you can just watch yesterday's video. But at the end of the day, if we're following this model, there should be another drop coming. And what I wanted to point out, now that we do have this move away that we were expecting, we have the Dream M at this point in time. What we can see here is that at the 50% mark of this daily market maker candle, we rejected 1, 2, 3 times. 3-time rejection at the same level without being able to break it usually does signal reversal imminent. That means that we basically have about roughly a 50 fib level rejection. And we talked about if we have a 50 fib level rejection, that the target then is the -27, which is at around 14K. I know that sounds scary, but I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying that is how you use fibs, and that is the target if you have a 50 EMA rejection. We could, however, just come back to revisit the previous low at around, say, 19,000. And either way, however long this takes, I'm not saying I think this is going to happen in the next week. I don't really truly think CPI will be enough of a news event for that to happen, but I do believe that the ETH merge is the selling event. And so that's not till September. I think that's estimated around September 19. So I am talking weeks away from now. But if ETH 2.0 does turn out to be the major selling event, then that is going to be where I personally start to accumulate my alts, because I do believe that will be the final shakeout. And not to say that I think we're going to go straight into recovery from there. I think, there's a chance that we will just go sideways and things will be very, very boring. But if you are an investor in crypto, in addition to being a trader in crypto, if we do get a big selling event after the ETH merge, it's a great opportunity as an investor to buy. So how long have I been doing this for today? 25 minutes. So I wanted to, based on that theory, I wanted to very quickly just go over some altcoins and talk about areas that I think would be good areas to buy. I'm happy to take requests on this. If anybody wants me to look at a particular coin, otherwise I'll just basically go through the popular ones. So feel free to post in the chat there. You must be a subscriber in order to post. So hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button whilst you're there. It's just a little bit over to the left. And we'll go through a few coins. So I'm just going to go through in order. I'm not saying I'm personally going to invest in these things. I don't necessarily have a bias. If the TA looks good, I'm in. That's basically it. So my favorite XRP. We will get to that. And here's an exercise for you to do as well, because you don't necessarily need me. You don't need a experienced technical analysis to do this. You can do this on your own, and it's very, very simple. If I'm planning to invest in a coin, I only care about the daily time frame of that coin. So number one is, all I want to do is mark out the market maker candle above price currently on the daily time frame and below price currently on the daily time frame, because that's going to set my two conditions, right? So this indicator here is a TTC community only one. It's not publicly launched yet, but what you can do in the meantime is you can type in PVA and look for PVA candle plus dragon. I'll click on this very quickly. It will show up like this. Go into the settings here. You don't necessarily need the dragon, because the dragon is just the 50 EMA. So I just switch off the other sides of it. And that's pretty much all you really, I think you switch off these backgrounds too. Yeah, that's basically it. And then you pretty much have almost a replica of, it will change the candle colors for you, right? So now all you're doing is you're having a look at where price is currently, and then you're looking left to find any market maker candle, which is going to be a colored candle: green, red, blue, magenta. That's it. And then what you're marking out the area that the candle has not yet been fully recovered, and you don't include wicks. So you're going from just the bodies to that area there. Now, when you analyze this, remember in Bitcoin, I said to you, we had 3 hits to the level and didn't break it. I'm using Cardano as an example, but look here, 1, 2, 3 hits to a level and didn't break it. So why people are saying to you, ape into altcoins right now is fairly beyond me. I can't explain it, but anyway, let's not get into that rant. Number 2, you do exactly the same at the bottom. So you find whatever market maker candle below price that has not yet been recovered, don't include the wicks, and you mark that out. That becomes your target. So if price were to head down into here and bounce again from that area, that's your buy zone to invest in Cardano as an example. If it breaks that, all you simply do is look for the next one down, and then you just wait a little bit longer, right? So I'm just going to move this back. So that's one example. Number 2 is, what if it doesn't? Like, what if, because we do have higher highs being created, so what if this maintains structure and we break? No worries. All you're waiting for is it to get through the rest of that candle, a full recovery, retest it, and that's where you invest. Right, so either way, you have now your rules for investment. If price continues up, only after a full recovery of that candle, if price comes back down, you're reassessing how price action moves in this zone. If it's still looking weak, you just move it down. So simple to invest, so much simpler than trading. Let's move on to algo as an example. Did I do algo? I would have done algo on here. Same story. So I don't really need to go into detail, but I'm just going to quickly show you the areas here that we can see. This candle here has not had a full recovery, and this candle here has not had a full recovery either. So looking great to hopefully come back down into that zone. Let's see if we have, I'd rather go through your requests than just make my way through an entire list. So let's see, I've done Sol, so let's look at Sol. That's this one here. So Sol, same thing. So really when you zoom out, it becomes very obvious that like we're still very much in danger, right? So Sol, these are my areas. I don't have any market maker candles to recover back down until like literally back down at the lows. Mind you, you may for yourself decide to do this exercise on a lower time frame, and you may find those candles on a lower time frame. That's just not, it will take me 25 years to do that. So on every coin. So I haven't done it. I am only considering the daily. But on something like this, I probably would drop down to the 4 hour and see if you can find any candles between where price is now and this bottom here, just as another area of interest. What else have I got here? Quant. So I haven't done quant, so let's do that one together. Where is quant? Oh, is quant only on Bybit? That's interesting. No? Did I do something wrong? QNT, USDT. I did do something wrong. All right. So quant, let's have a look at this. Now, so all of these have been recovered. So we need to actually move up on quant. So this one here. Here we go. It's this one. This one has not yet been fully recovered to the top of that wick. So that's your area of interest for the top side. Quant is pretty good, like pretty late though at this, if you wanted to invest here, because quant is above all the EMAs at this point in time. You have this area here that needs to be recovered. However, the thing is, if you want to invest in this, you've missed a lot of the move, and you're probably not going to wait for just a small pullback here to get in, even though that's a retest of the 200 EMA. I'm a lot more tighter if I'm investing. I really want a very good price. This is decent because it's a retest of the 50 EMA, but if we're talking about a 7-week massive selling event, you may even, with enough patience and enough time, you may even get down into this one here. So this could be a situation where if you really like this coin and you really believe in it long term, you may dollar cost average into these areas here and split your orders up over 3 in case it doesn't actually get all the way down. Let's actually just quickly also have a look at what this fib level would be. Yeah, 61 point. Beautiful fib level retracements. That looks great. I actually really like this area of interest, but it would take extreme patience. What is Rune? Let me look at Rune. I might actually come back and do this another time as well, because there are very many altcoins in this world and it takes a long time to get through them all. So immediately we can see that this candle here has not yet been fully recovered. It's done about a 50% recovery off this level here, but it's never returned. So that's number one. And number two, our area of interest is the rest of this candle down here. So depending on how bad our selling event is, that's the next zone to watch. If we get down below that, everything else has been recovered. So what do you do then? you mark down the lowest level, and then you go left into basically last year. What are all these? And we're trying to look for it from last year. So we can see here, this one lines up. That has not yet been fully recovered. And now when we go, see how we've dipped into it a little bit once. So we may do a full recovery again and come back into this zone, and that's where you reassess. So I might leave it there because I don't like these videos to go on for too long, but hopefully you'll understand the process, and maybe I'll start doing a couple of altcoin requests at the end of my videos and, go through 2 or 3 different ones and hopefully get everyone's covered. Actually, let me just quickly look at XRP because I do know that people absolutely love XRP, and I have already drawn that out. XRP is a situation similar to the one I just showed, where we don't have this full recovery yet, but we also don't have anything below in the recent price action to come back to. So we have to go back here to this level here, which is from 2021, January, and that's the zone that we're looking at. Also, sorry, one more. I know I said I'm going, but I just want to point this out because I think it's so cool and also just so funny. Doge here is a very interesting one because look at this. So this is the market maker candle here. We've had 1, 2, 3 hits to that, 4 hits to that same level without breaking it. It is currently looking bearish. We do not have any market maker candles to recover below here. So when we go left and have a look at where we can do it, we also don't have any here. We don't have any here. We have it down here. Now, I don't know if you were around trading, but this trade here, I actually caught this trade back in 2021, and it was obviously an Elon tweet that did it, but I didn't know that Elon tweeted. I literally had this area marked out as a board meeting, and I took this as a breakout trade just by chance, and it ended up being an absolutely epically retarded trade. It was so crazy, but Doge does look like that if it rejects where it is now, that this is the next area of imbalance. It's all the way back down at 1 cent. It's crazy. And you know what? If that were to happen, if it was to come back in this zone, it's worth a bit of gamble money, not an investment, but gamble money, because we know that in order for Doge to move, we just need Elon to tweet. So guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to end it on the worst note possible, leaving you with Doge. But enjoy that. I hope that was helpful. I hope you enjoyed that. It's such an easy way to invest. Go and do it for your favorite coins, and be careful of CPI tonight. Make your decision whether you're going to let your runners run with your current short. And that's all I have to say. I will see you tomorrow, and we will talk about the post-news price action. Goodbye.